Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the MSS ADA podcast with Keith Mangan and myself, Matt Trahan. Keith, good afternoon. How's everything going?
Everything is outstanding. The sun is shining. We are ready to go, Matt. We are ready to go.
Listen, speaking of the sun shining, I think you got to enjoy that while you can because we're looking at some rain coming, possibly some cancellations late in the week. Never a fun time in the world of athletics when you're dealing with spring weather.
Listen, I hear you. And, and the ADs out there know this as well, that, this is a tough time because, the cancellations, all that early April rain, stuff like that drives us crazy. Yeah. And, we're constantly looking and changing and stuff like that. But I'm going over the daily forecast right now, Matt. And, Thursday is a tough one, especially where both my kids are going to the Tewksbury Junior Prom on Thursday night. So,
oh, wow. Nice.
Hopefully the rain holds off until they're at least there.
Right.
Well, that would be good.
That, you're looking at Wednesday. I think it's a 50-50 bag, right? It all depends on where you are, and it might drizzle, it might rain hard. Yep. That being said, though, I think, one of the difficult things that we have to do, one of many, is play weatherman. Yeah. Right. You got to guess right or guess wrong. And I look at it, from an AD's perspective, you don't typically deal with many of these changes until you get to the spring. Yep. Fall's clean and easy. The winter is the winter, right? It's everything's indoors for that. But when you look at the spring, anything's possible. It's all in who you're working with that day.
Absolutely.
And for me, that puts my radar up. I feel like every time we go down to the annual MIAA meeting, it always rains.
Yep.
I don't remember the last time that it didn't rain because you're always, moving a game, calling the groundskeeper, trying to make sure everything's all set. And I think we'll be living that life this Thursday as well.
Well, in this Thursday being the MIAA annual meeting, Matt, as you're aware, and that's usually always an event that it's almost guaranteed to rain or snow on that day.
Sure.
Every year I've been there, you have ADs lined up in the hallway making their phone calls and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy. But Matt, as we start off here too, I want to give one shout out here, because while we were down at the conference, we were chatting with some different people. We had some people talk about the podcast here, and although I was identified as this person's second favorite podcaster, I want to give a shout out to Matt Marciniak out in Palmer. I know he's a big fan and second only to the person on my left, which is probably your right, but Matt's a big fan of podcasting and he wants to get on the show here at some point as well.
Hey, Matt, you know what? I like your taste. Matt's got good taste, and you know what? I'm now a fan of Palmer High School.
Yeah, right.
Yep. So if you're listening, Matt, listen, just so you know, if you're watching, I know you mentioned to us D Block, you happen to, spend some time, watching and listening. You could add in a comment, or you could, reach out to us, as this thing's going live. So we'll keep an eye out and hopefully ready for, a quick answer for you.
Absolutely.
Keith, that being said, I have to say to you and everybody else that's listening, Gold Athletics is our premium exclusive fundraising sponsor of MSS ADA. What an unbelievable experience they had down the Cape, but we did with them as well. Yep. If you're not fundraising with them, I don't know what you're waiting for. They do a tremendous job. They have a ton of different products. Matt Ross is unbelievable. The whole group of them, they're just extremely, extremely well-versed in fundraising. You should definitely reach out to them if you have fundraising needs. Gold Athletics, in my opinion, probably yours as well, the only way to fundraise.
Absolutely, Matt. And I got to tell you, so this time last year, we were just starting off talking about Gold Athletics. They just jumped on board for our podcast, and you've been working with them for a while. And I had my boys lacrosse coach, who was brand new last year, had worked with them in his previous school, so he had brought them on board and did a great fundraiser in the spring. And since then, we have I think 5 other teams that have joined on. Our swim team, our volleyball team, our track team's doing something with them now. Hockey, golf, all done it. We work with Steve who's our guy, and what a great sales service, great group of folks to work with.
Yeah, no, they're excellent. Top notch. Fantastic at what they do. And I think, we're going to talk a lot about the conference. This is a post-conference podcast. However, I thought Matt Ross delivered at our luncheon, and in the fact that he talked about all of the things that I think ADs struggle with fundraising, the pitfalls, the things that keep us up at night. They eliminate that, right? So you know when you're dealing with a company like that, it's in good hands. The intentions are good. The money's clean. Everything comes through your main office. It's fantastic. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Absolutely, and it's everyone needs to do some fundraising. You know what I mean? And it's great to do those for those, whether it be for uniforms, whether it be for just some of those incidentals, the little things, maybe some postseason thing. Having that quality program that has great product. We've tried the cookie dough, we've tried the popcorn. They were giving out samples of the the peanuts and stuff down the Cape, and it's quality product. So it's not like it's just some garbage that you're just getting in the mail one day. It's great quality product, and they do a great job with their customer service as well.
100%. And by the way, their beef jerky, man, I'll tell you, fantastic. I know we talked about that once before. I'm ready for that one to come back around, because I'll be buying that beef jerky. That was good stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm a little twisted because our hockey team did the beef jerky fundraiser, and I think for some reason no one came by to see Mr. Mangan.
Oh man! So, you know what it is? They probably didn't recognize you since you shaved.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Looks good. Looks good.
Buddy. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Looks good. So, Keith, let's talk about that conference. Feels like it was 2 weeks ago. However, it was last week. Coming back from that is I think difficult. Because we're you're ADing on a different level, at least with our board, where you're trying to please everybody, make sure that everything's running smoothly, and that everybody's having a quality experience. Now you come back to your school and it's all hands on deck, cancellations, schedules, you name it, we're back to doing it. But last week was a fantastic week. Getting to spend some time with you and the rest of the board and all of the ADs across the state. Tell me what you thought your favorite part of the week was. I have a bunch of them, but fill me in.
Really, and this might seem kind of corny, it's just the overall experience of getting down there. Like, I really look forward to that every year. A week ago Monday, I was in the car driving on the earlier side on Monday, and I chatted with my wife, and she said, "You're already on your way down there?" I said, "Absolutely. I can't wait to get down there." So want to get down there as quickly as possible, and to be able to partake in the events that we do, not only as a board, but as an overall group. I had to take off this year for the first time. I had to run home my son had an event on Wednesday night, so I missed some of the stuff on Wednesday, but especially that vendor hall, the opening for the vendor hall and stuff like that, which is a big event.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as that event was over, I jumped right in my car and drove right back to Hyannis and got right back into it. So it was, I got to teach some LTC courses this year, which was something I hadn't done before. I'd taken some, but not taught. But really the camaraderie is so important to be able to sit, not just within your district, but to meet people across the state. Spend some time. We had a colleague come down who was acknowledged to Mike Roy out in Western Mass, who was back down. Got to see Mike, and just a great time.
Yeah, I agree. When you look at it and you look at it from an aerial view, you go, wow, this is like the highlight of the year when it comes to athletics. Now, some of my favorite things were, the execution of the awards, right? So, and I think we're always trying to up the ante, but a vision was kind of out there. We thought it was going to be something, and as it turns out, it was. Changing the meal, the atmosphere, whether it be music or lighting, whatever it was. I just think that it was good to see a change, a positive change. The vendors were lights out. Vendors were and I think, that vendor hall had 98 vendors in it. And all of them, in talking to many of them, they all seemed pretty pleased with the amount of ADs that visited, their booths. And, it's always a great time, but I think, and I'm sure you've looked at some of the conference evaluations from folks. We've tried our very best to execute some of those thoughts from the previous year. And I'm sure that we'll be doing the same again this year, looking at where things are placed, 1 meal, 2 meals, business meeting. All of those things are heard.
Yep.
And we appreciate the ADs that come down, spend time with us, and give us positive feedback.
Well, Matt, and I think it's something that our group has really taken a lot of pride in, of hearing the feedback and trying to make the changes where we can. Last year we came out, there's a lot of feedback about the hotel itself. We went out, we looked at a bunch of different places, and there wasn't really anywhere that really met our needs, what we needed, and what the price tag that we have. Right. But the hotel was bought, and Tommy and his crew were great and very receptive to what we do. And I know seeing some of the initial evaluations, like the internet was a disaster. But by
the way, not to cut you off, that's one of the reasons why we're here today.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we're here today, folks, is and again, everybody cited it that did take the evaluation, and the update is that they will have 5G next year. So there's a positive. But having done what we do here with someone last year, I think we both agree that we want to put out a good product versus a hodgepodge of in and out. You know what I mean? So gave me a little bit of reservation, seeing as I could only get one bar on my phone, and I know you were the same as well. So. We're here today.
Yeah, no. And right when we had our meeting with the hotel after the business meeting, that was the first thing they brought up before we could even bring it up.
Yeah.
Apologize for that and the plans, how that will be remedied for next year, which is, again, great to hear. That it's not just us bringing that forward. That's something that they're already working on. But, the group, Tom Tarpey did an outstanding job organizing, Mike Denise as our conference coordinator, Kara for LTC. You alluded to, the banquet on Thursday night with what you brought to the table, and Terry and Jim Quattromoni moving everything right along, operating on the fly, addressing, making some changes as we went. And it was so smooth. But again, we had some feedback, and we're going through and making those changes going into next year.
Yep, absolutely. And, you mentioned a few people, total rock star in Tanya Rich.
Yep.
She misses nothing. She catches everything. Thank God for her and longstanding on the board. I look at the board and I go, it's a lot of talented individuals, but I think people are fully invested in providing this opportunity. So much so that I think, people are very giving of their time and, just want to put out the best product, possible. We brought down Gary Stevens again, who's exceptional at what he does. I thought, a lot of the concurrent sessions were great. And then, bringing in companies too. Like I don't want to shortchange it. I definitely want to mention like the Sports U thing. I had the good fortune of moderating, Sports U, and that was a packed house.
Yep.
That was a packed house. I'm trying to get my coaches on board.
Yep.
I've set them up with accounts, and I'm hoping that, that we can make that happen. But it's talk about ease of use, and it's a free product, Keith.
Absolutely.
It's free. You can post pictures. You can delineate somebody being the photographer for your team. You can make your coach the admin. You can see all of the correspondence because it's a U.S. company. They don't sell the data. There's just so many positives to it that, I think we have the responsibility, you and I and everybody else on the board, that when we partner with a group, a company, or anything of that nature, they have to be first class.
Yep.
Gold Athletics, first class.
Yep.
Gold Fan, first class. Sports U, first class. We're not just going to wrap our name around anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think when we put it out there publicly, like we do, I would think that, people tend to listen. Because guess what? Free, that's the magic word. So you had me at hello, and now I want to hear more about what are you offering for free.
Absolutely. And, Matt, along those lines is that, we brought in some diamond sponsors and bring in some people, but that's not a decision that we take lightly. And we really go through and really kind of hem and haw about whether it's right for our group, and not just for our executive board, but for all of our ADs across the state. We don't take those decisions lightly. So it's been great. Every year, I go home on Friday. I came into work. I had a couple on my home opener for Boys Across, and I ended up getting home at about 6:30, and I was exhausted through the weekend, but it's great. And you mentioned Tanya, and I didn't get to her yet. Well, absolutely the work she has done and does behind the scenes, and the rest of the board, Kelly, and now Jen is coming in as our new third vice president from out in Belchertown, and we have all the different district reps, and I'd be remiss to, and I know you'd probably bring this up at some point as well, but a huge shout out to Fran, who's just getting ready to tie up his time with us. As I guess we say he skis off into the sunset, would be the appropriate one, getting ready to go out on another trip here. But his guidance has been much appreciated.
Yeah, he's I said it in the at one of the sessions that became fast friends with Fran. I mean, I know that there's a a business relationship there, but when you work closely with somebody like him, he has thoughts and he finds a way to execute them and get the best out of people, which is a sign of any good leader, right? We've got a lot done this year. I mean, for me, it's been extremely rewarding, as I'm sure it was for you, to just see change, to see some of the processes through, to put in some processes that we're currently doing right now, whether it be the evaluation process or a few other things that we talked about. I just think that our obligation is to make our board and our state ADs association better every year, however we can. Absolutely. Whether it be through a podcast or website, you name it, we're trying to do it. We're trying to, put our best foot forward, and under Fran's leadership, I think he's done a tremendous job over the years. And he will run it, ride off into the sunset, and then we have Ann coming in, who I know she's eager to, to get after it and obviously put her personal stamp on some things. So, I mean, it's an exciting time. Yeah, no, it's reward. I guess I would say the experience is very rewarding. That. You put your time in, and we do our best to put out a great product. Looking through the evaluations, there's some great feedback in there, and even the things like we know some things need to be done, but also hearing that from folks who come out from around the state and they've shared their thoughts, and we take that stuff. This year was the last year of our contract with the folks down there, and we're going into a negotiation time, so it's so important to have that information as we go through and do that. Right. No, I agree. I mean, but all in all, I look at the changes, and you mentioned the hotel. They are making a concerted effort to bring that hotel back to life. I mean, I think everybody noted that the food was outstanding. Food was outstanding. So to go to that carving station, all of that piece, I thought that was one of the best meals I've ever had down there. The atmosphere up there, that changing the carpet, changing the wall color, changing all of that, exceptional. The rooms have all been touched. And, in talking to Tommy, he's just cracking the surface. So, we will, obviously we'll be getting something from them, and hopefully it works out for us. I think, in talking to him, he's going to open up another beverage establishment down the conference center. And I think he's going to be opening up some walls and whatnot. So I'm excited to see what's to come, and certainly support, Tom Toppy. I think I've got one meeting left. That being said, I mean, man, it goes quick. It goes extremely quick. I feel like, like you last year, you're all hands on deck. You have a lot going on. You're trying to do the very best you can for the association, but then you blink your eye, the conference is over, and you're looking to support somebody new coming in. Absolutely. And you know what, Matt, you hit the nail on the head right there. And as the hotel said, they're making their changes. We also have to be cognizant of the fact that, they moved from their other sites, so they're only in Hyannis now, and they also need to rent out rooms while, they still got to pay their bills while they're going through and making those changes too. And as we all know, any work that we try to do on our fields or on our facilities, sometimes you're at the mercy of other people's schedules, but it's definitely coming along. Noticeable changes. And I think based on what the staff said at our post meeting, there are a lot more things coming in. So looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. Yep. One of the things, as we usually typically do 20, 30 minutes, but I would be remiss to not mention you and everybody else that won an award down in Hyannis. I think, some of the best ADs in the state. There's some great pictures out there. Really, really honored to have that opportunity and, some, colleagues and friends, their well-deserved plaque. I thought it was awesome. Yourself, obviously, I think we took a great picture together. Well, and
we were talking about this beforehand. Some folks up in our suite, and it's kind of like, for me, I don't like being in the limelight about anything, but it's nice, and congratulations on yours as well. But and I think we both feel the same way, that there's so many deserving people in our association, and it's tough to, how do you say this person does any better than the next person or anything like that. So we start kicking that process up again, and we'll do that again, reaching out to districts and ask for their nominations again. And so when we come back after the summer, we can get that process going again, and looking forward to even making some more changes in that format for next year, and looking for ways to celebrate our people. Which is what's such a wonderful time about the experience, is that we know what we do. Right. A lot of other people out there can't really fathom the stuff that we do on a regular basis. So it's nice to be able to sit down with people like you who know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? For the most part, everyone has little different experiences and stuff like that, but it can be challenging at times, and it's great to be able to sit down and let your hair down, sometimes too much, and have some time with your peers.
Right. No, I agree. I just, I look at it and I go, we have a lot of, new people coming in, right? We got a lot of new athletic directors. I want to say it was like 43 this year.
Yeah.
That being said, a lot of them came down to the conference.
Yep. And
if I had to give them a recommendation, it's get involved.
Yep.
I mean, whether it's through, your district, through an MIA board, because that's how it all started for us, right? I mean, and I say that, I mean, I consider myself a young guy. I know you're a young guy too, but when you've been on the job for almost 20 years, that's a lot of experience. So at that point, you go, I've been on this, I've done that. It's also time for the newer people, once they get their feet under them, to take the reins and start doing a little bit more. And I encourage people to do that, because really it's all hands on deck. And you know what, you can't sit back and let everybody else do what you think needs to be done. You need to do it yourself and get involved.
Yeah, and even starting as, and you alluded to this already, starting as simply as filling out that survey. So we can try to constantly make our product better.
Yeah.
Whether it be something whether we're doing now or something we haven't started yet.
Right.
We want that feedback and want people to get involved and do some new things and constantly growing as an association, to make this the best we can, without question.
So I got to ask you this. I don't have anything in my hand. Is that a Slinky?
So yeah. So that would be a Slinky that I sit on my desk while I'm talking on the phone, stuff like that, and just fiddle with, and
there you go.
Help with some attention issues that I have.
Or
to distract just ever so slightly. But yes, that is a Slinky.
I had to ask.
Yeah. No, that literally sits on my desk when I'm on the phone, or excuse me, Zoom calls and stuff like that. Just something just to fiddle with. And
So listen, folks. I mean, we try to be as straight-laced as possible, consummate professionals. However, this is who we are.
Yeah,
right. So,
absolutely.
This is who we are. I mean, you're getting a more reverent version of Keith Mangan and Matt Trahan. However, we do like to have a good time. We do enjoy a good razzing every now and then. So, that being said, always a great time getting together with you, Keith.
Absolutely. You too.
One more time, want to throw it out there. Congratulations to all the award winners. I think we had a wonderful conference. Can't say enough about our leadership, Ann and Fran. Exceptional job. All of the board members. And last but not least, special thanks to our exclusive diamond sponsor, Solid Gold Athletics. If you're looking for a fundraising company, look no further. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company. They meet all of your needs. Don't just take our word for it. Give them a call. Gold Athletics. Keith, always a pleasure, my friend. I look forward to doing it again soon.
All right, we'll see you. Have a great day today. Enjoy the weather.
You too.